In today's Daily Health, it's a story we've been tracking closely. Potentially harmful chemicals making their way into braiding hair and extensions that are often marketed to black women. By some estimates, over 70% of black women use hair extensions or weaves at least once a year. Now, new data released this month is shining a light on the potential risks of these cosmetic products. I spoke with the researchers behind these two new studies. A style often deemed as protective for black women is now under scrutiny as two new studies warn of health risks in hair extensions. On Tuesday, Consumer Reports revealing new findings that human, synthetic, and plant-based hair extensions from 30 brands have volatile organic compounds or heavy metals like lead.
Human hair, by far, had the most lead that we've ever seen in testing these products, orders of magnitude above synthetic hairs.
The study looked at 3 samples of each brand, and there were some exceptions. One product with no heavy metals, another with low heavy metals.
So that tells us that these manufacturers can make a safer product.
Nearly a year ago, we spoke with medical student Crystal Thomas, whose commentary on braiding hair led to Consumer Reports' first analysis.
I noticed my hair was itching and it was just difficult to breathe overall.
Now, research is expanding. The Silent Spring Institute, a scientific research nonprofit, testing 43 hair extension products.
We found chemicals in these products that are associated with cancer, reproductive harm, and also birth defects.
So man, this is very alarming, and you definitely want to take this type of stuff serious. So they've found some harmful chemicals within human, synthetic, and plant-based hair. That's, of course, they're saying marketed to black women, but I'm sure there's a large population or demographic of their consumer base, but this can be extensions for all women, really. And you want to definitely take this serious here. They were saying that the human hair had like the highest levels of metals, and they were basically saying that the manufacturers are able to produce a product that's not going to have that much metals in it, and that's going to be a lot more healthier. And as you heard an example, the lady was saying that she was having her hair was itching, she was having a hard time breathing and stuff like that, and the Silent Institute, as they were saying, they did a study, and then they found a lot of information when they did these studies. And I just do feel like you need to hold these brands and these manufacturers accountable so that they can start delivering a more healthier product. And especially if they're making millions and billions of dollars off this type of stuff every year, you gotta hold them to a certain standard and take your health seriously.
The hair containing 169 chemicals, including flame retardants and pesticides.
We found that all but 2 of the products that we looked at contained at least one of those hazard chemicals.
What substances most alarmed you and why?
The compounds that most alarmed me from this study were the organotin compounds. Those are compounds that are typically not found in consumer products. We know that they're associated with endocrine disruption in humans as well as cancer.
While both studies had small sample sizes, calls for more research and regulation are growing, with New York and New Jersey introducing legislation to regulate or ban synthetic braiding hair in 2025. The Safer Beauty Bill package also reintroduced in the House last year.
There needs to be more efforts to uncover some of the products and their risks.
For more on what these findings mean for your health, we're bringing in Dr. Uche Blackstock. She's a physician and the CEO of Advancing Health Equity. So good to have you.
Thank you.
As we mentioned, small sample sizes, but still alarming findings, particularly arsenic and lead. What does it mean that some of these compounds are in these cosmetic products?
So what it means and what we know is that these compounds are linked to increased cancer risk. They're linked to hormone disruptions. They're linked to developmental issues with reproductive health. And so they have real concerns, but we know they're also in the hair, right? They're in synthetic hair, they're in human hair because it's processed, but we don't know what the long-term chronic exposure of wearing these synthetic hair or the braids has on people.
And it's often worn for months at a time. Viewers have seen me change it up often in the black community, right? We call it protective styling. It protects your hair potentially from breaking, gives you a break from styling. And yet these risks, How exactly, though, are the chemicals entering the body? Because someone might say, well, it's on my head.
Right.
What's the big deal?
Yeah, and so what's really important to know is the scalp is, we call it well vascularized. It has lots of blood vessels, and so it can absorb whatever you put on it, whatever cream, whatever product you put on it. And so the scalp can easily absorb the chemicals that are in these braids. Also, these braids emit off gas. Okay,
especially
so
when
chemicals
heat
are gas,
is applied,
yeah, especially when heated. So that's the other thing. Please do not apply heat to the synthetic hair, but they can cause pulmonary irritation, and you can inhale it through your nose and through your lungs.
I mean, I read that stat at the beginning. Black women, about 70% will have synthetic hair or a wig at least once a year.
I know.
So what does this mean? Do we have to stop this style that has been in our culture for generations?
Right. So no, you don't have to stop. We're not saying, and the evidence doesn't say wearing it once is going to make a difference. We just don't know what the chronic exposure is. And so what you can do is ask your braider, where are you getting the hair from, right? What's the source of it? We also want to see transparency around ingredients, checking what the ingredients are on your on the hair bundles, right? If there's a hair that has a very strong chemical odor, you don't want to use it. Also, we talked about the heat, not applying heat to synthetic hair because that causes off-gassing, emitting more of these gases. And then you also want to get your hair done in a well-ventilated area.
So, these are some great tips. Hope the ladies are listening and take heed to this, and take it serious, because that's a high percentage of people who are out here getting their hair done, and of course, like they said, it's always been said to be a protective hairstyle within the community, and these studies are going to come because people are going to be curious, and people have already went through certain things, and they have their own examples, so they're going to test these type of things, and you're going to discover new stuff, and once you discover new stuff, then of course you want to act accordingly, and just take everything with a grain of salt, um, and then of course do your due diligence. Ask your hair braider, where's the source of this hair coming from, and also be able to look at the contents or what's within the makeup of the hair, and just know what you're putting on top of your head for sure. You don't want to expose yourself to any type of health risk that you don't really need to. It's already enough health risks already just floating around in the air out there. So, definitely want to be vigilant on this whole thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video. If you have any experience with this, for my ladies, if you have any experience with this, or any type of beauticians, or just anyone who has consumed or had these type of hairstyles, if you ever had these type of issues, definitely leave a comment, and let me know what you think about this whole story or this whole new finding. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.